We already have excuses from Donald Trump about apparently not paying taxes. Quote, that makes me smart. And the amazing, quote, I know our complex tax laws better than anyone, thus, quote, I am the only one who can fix them. Nevertheless, we begin day 5 of our wait for Donald Trump to come up with an excuse for why he accused a woman who was not in a sex tape of being in a sex tape when he himself was in a Playboy tape spraying champagne with premature jocularity. Please note how remarkable it is that Trump has not blamed his agent for that, or a celebrity lookalike service, or claimed he didn't know that Playboy made sex tapes, or simply insisted that the Second Amendment protects his right to bare arms and legs and the rest. Because Trump has an excuse for everything. The top 50 of them? I mean, recently? His excuse for not releasing his taxes, quote, I'm being audited so I can't. But he will, quote, when she releases her 33,000 emails. But, quote, I don't think anybody cares. But, quote, there's nothing to learn from them. Plus, his tax rate is, quote, none of your business. His excuse for his bad poll numbers. The, quote, Google search engine was suppressing the bad news about Hillary Clinton. Without the, quote, disgusting and corrupt media, he'd be leading by 20%, and he's not losing anyway. Quote, I certainly don't think it is appropriate to start changing all of a sudden when you have been winning. Trump's excuses about Russia, reportedly hacking into Democratic National Committee computers, quote, it could be Russia, but it could also be China. It could also be lots of other people. It also could be somebody sitting on the bed that weighs 400 pounds, okay? Shooting down Malaysian Airlines flight MH17, quote, they say it wasn't them. Going on a Larry King TV show carried by Russian state-sponsored television and saying that he doubted Vladimir Putin was attempting to influence the U.S. elections. He thought it was for a Larry King podcast. His excuses for supporting in September 2002 the invasion of Iraq. A 2004 interview proves he didn't. He told Sean Hannity he didn't. When Howard Stern asked him, he said, quote, I don't know. Even though the tape shows he actually said, quote, yeah, I guess so. Quote, by the time the war started, I was against it. Quote, shortly thereafter, I was really against it. And regardless, when he said it, whatever he said, he, quote, was not a politician. His excuse for his performance in the first debate, quote, they also gave me a defective mic, but he was not sniffing because also, quote, the mic was very bad, but maybe it was good enough to hear breathing. His excuse for not attacking the Clintons' marriage during the debate, I really eased up because I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Then he attacked the marriage anyway. Then he questioned if Hillary had been loyal to Bill. Also, moderator Lester Holt, quote, Lester is a Democrat. It's a phony system. They're all Democrats. No. For the record, Holt is a registered Republican. Trump then said he, quote, did a great job. No, he deserved a, quote, C+, but, quote, I'm not complaining. No, Lester Holt rigged the debate. Quote, what a rigged deal. I tell you, we're in such a rigged system. Trump's excuse if he loses the election, quote, I'm afraid the election is going to be rigged. His opponent cleared by investigators, it's a, quote, rigged system. But, quote, it's not just the political system that's rigged, it's the whole economy. Yet not everything is rigged. Trump's excuse when he asked Russia to hack Clinton's email, quote, of course I'm being sarcastic. Trump's excuse when he called President Obama the co-founder of ISIS, quote, they don't get sarcasm? Small crowd size in Colorado Springs, the fire marshal was a Democrat. Small crowd size in Washington, D.C., 600,000 people would have been there, but, quote, they don't allow them to come in. How his wife Melania got into the country despite possible immigration irregularities. She'll hold a news conference. Why his wife Melania has not held a news conference? They released a letter from her lawyer. His excuse for claiming that global warming was a hoax perpetrated by the Chinese, quote, I do not say it. He tweeted it. His excuse, quote, I often joke that this is done for the benefit of China. Obviously I joke, but this is done for the benefit of China. Trump's excuse for his connection to alt-right white supremacists, Hillary Clinton, quote, came up with the term. The reported excuse for violence at his rallies, it adds, quote, excitement. His excuse for not disavowing white supremacist David Duke during a TV interview, quote, a very bad earpiece. His excuse for proposing a Muslim ban, quote, it was just a suggestion. His excuse for saying he could shoot people on Fifth Avenue in New York City and not lose any support, quote, obviously it was a joke. His excuse for calling Ted Cruz a, quote, pussy, quote, we were all just having fun. His excuse for disparaging Heidi Cruz's appearance, quote, I didn't start it. His GOP debate excuse for disparaging remarks towards women, oftentimes it's fun, it's kidding, we have a good time. His excuse for commenting that if she weren't his daughter, he might be dating his daughter, quote, cute, it was cute. His excuse for abusive remarks about former Miss Universe Alicia Machado, quote, she gained a massive amount of weight. His excuse for disparaging Machado after she endorsed Hillary Clinton, quote, check out sex tape. His excuse for the 3 to 5 a.m. overnight tweet storm that included the phrase, check out sex tape, quote, at least you know I will be there awake to answer the call. And lastly, his excuse for making all his harsh remarks, I do regret it, particularly where it may have caused personal pain. Okay, that was August 19th. That was before the Washington Hotel birther news conference, before he talked about disarming Hillary Clinton's Secret Service detail, before he physically mocked Hillary Clinton's pneumonia collapse, before the raise your hand if you're a non-Christian thing, before he said he might not recognize the outcome of the election, before he slammed the entire African-American community, Mika Brzezinski, Maureen Dowd, ex-CIA Director Gates, Colin Kaepernick, Obama's poll numbers compared to Putin's, Alicia Machado, the Federal Reserve System, Jeff Zucker, Elizabeth Warren, and Rosie O'Donnell. Again! That's the closer. I'm Keith Olbermann. Watch this space.